What is the Schomburg Center? To me, it is home. The place where we come to see who we really are, not just somebody else's reflection of who we are.
The Schomburg Center is a place of culture, it's a place of history, it's a place of knowledge.
The Schomburg Center, to me, is a repository of all of the things that has documented our sense of worth as a people.
For me, that means that it is a place of immense power.
The Schomburg Center is a public research library and a cultural institution
for the study of the Pan-African world.
It is perhaps the best in the world.
My Schomburg Center is Arturo Alfonso Schomburg.
Arturo Schomburg said, Black history and culture and intellect exists at a time when most people didn't believe that. He collected those evidences, and that became the beginning of the collection.
And it has expanded and has grown to where it is now a world-class institution.
It holds over 10 million items.
There's no parallel anywhere that brings to light what we as people of color have done, what we continue to do.
Black culture is all of culture. The universals that animate everyone's life happen here for all people.
The Schomburg, for me, is one of the center pillars of Harlem. When I started the journey of finding out about Red Rooster and Harlem, the very first place I went to was the Schomburg.
Researchers from around the world come and use what we have here.
I could not have written just about any of the books that I've written without the Schomburg Center's archives, resources.
The Schomburg Center is much more than a library. We encourage lifelong learning and exploration.
The Junior Scholars Program is a Saturday program with students from 5th grade to senior year in high school to help them learn about Black history and culture.
Learning about my history is important because it teaches me who I am.
The Schomburg Junior Scholars Program is going to do nothing but uplift them.
So many talented and brilliant people have walked the corridors of this amazing institution over the years. From Octavia Butler to Toni Morrison and James Baldwin, Ella Fitzgerald, Alvin Ailey, and Harry Belafonte, who graced the stage in this room of the American Negro Theater.
This place evokes great memories. It was a gift to us in our community to really try to find that space to reflect expressions of Black experience. I just knew that the environment and what I saw these young African Americans doing was a place I needed to be.
What is my Schomburg Center? I'm standing here at the Cosmogram, which underneath holds the ashes of the poet Langston Hughes. On the evening when this Cosmogram was dedicated, people began to empty out of the auditorium. A jazz trio struck up, and to my amazement, Amiri Baraka went over and asked Maya Angelou for a dance. And they started to dance on top of the Cosmogram, on top of the ashes of Langston Hughes, and I felt what a fitting way to kiss the memory of Langston.
The Schomburg Center is a research institute and a library, but it's so much more than that.
There's something going on every day.
So many amazing people come here to talk about their creative craft, to share what inspires them. The Schomburg Center's collections help to tell stories even beyond our walls.
The Schomburg Center is here in this exhibition at MoMA, One-Way Ticket, Jacob Lawrence's Migration Series. We depend on the resources of the Schomburg to enable us to tell this story. Thinking about the implications of the past on the present is absolutely crucial for understanding the next steps, understanding what we have to do to go forward.
We today have the responsibility of making sure that new artists and activists, new scholars and poets know that this place continues to be a resource and a source of inspiration for the work that we must continue to do.
The Schomburg Center is knowledge.
The Schomburg Center, to me, is education.
The Schomburg Center is home, it is family, it is foundational.
The Schomburg Center is inspiration.
The Schomburg is with me in everything that I do.
Community, inside and out.
The Schomburg Center is us.
The Schomburg Center is you, and we invite each and every one of you to find your Schomburg Center.
Artie, come on up. Both of you guys, come on up. Grab a seat. Gonna have us a little talk back. Talk about Abe, the musical. Guys, round of applause. Now, I have seen many things on this screen this week, but Abe, the musical, Artie, you guys, I remember when you guys first came to the fest, mad years ago. It had to be like in 2016, like the very first year we did it.
Yeah,
You came
yeah.
with Snuffleupagus. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Snuffleupagus. Yeah.
Snuffleupagus. And it was a parody of HBO of the first stylist for Run DMC, right? So, in that short, you guys have been working in comedy in theater. You guys do this really great show in real life, theater, comedy. To see the progression, just the production value that you guys put into this, the costuming, dear God, like everything that you guys have done. Tell me a little bit about that journey from Snuffleupagus to this feature.
Thank you, by the way, for that. That's awesome. I guess what. So when me and Ant started working together, we have a live show that we do together, and we film commercials for the show every month. So as it went on, like the commercials got better and better with the value of it, and then we just kept saying like we want to do a feature movie, and we had done Katie, who plays Abraham. She did a live show.
Abraham's in the back.
She's in the audience back there.
Hey, Katie.
She had a live show, and it was about auditions for Broadway, and asked me to come on and play a character. And I said, I can't sing, but would it be cool if I rapped? So that's where that character came from. Anthony later comes on the show, and he does Fasse, the gentleman in the wheelchair. So from that, people liked it, so we said, let's see if we can make this into a film. Because we had done so many of these short parody commercials, and we'd done a short film that we thought, we're at the point, like, let's try it.
I have to ask you a most serious question. What the hell is the fascination with the horses? What is with you and these damn horses and the licking and what is that about?
I think the horses we actually found out to just be coincidence as we were piecing it together. We're like, oh yeah, we said horses earlier as well, and this character also. Sound, as far as like the chewing stuff, it always gets like a visceral response from people that brings us just some joy, even though it's kind of grotesque. I don't know. I think it pleases us to have these obscure sounds going on.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, some of it, like you said, some of it was like just a lovely mistake, if you will. There was originally, when we started filming it, with Katie and Adam, who he's he plays the piano, and that a lot of that was improvised, where like the songs were written, but the dialogue wasn't. So when he talks about Dogs, the musical, and everything, and Anthony's character had talked about it, that was not even in the script. It wound up in the edit room, like, oh my God, this actually all works together. He just happened to just go on a rant and was just making stuff up, and it worked.
That's the fun of working with folks who are specific, who come out of theater. And you guys live and eat and breathe that every day. So you get to have these moments where things just work. You guys work off the fly, off the brain constantly. So to see that translated into film, I would think that's in film, folks, but I don't see that a lot. But anyway, forget all that. Why? What? What made you come up? What made you decide on Lincoln the musical? Obviously, you know Hamilton, blah blah. But what made you decide to do Lincoln?
I think particularly Lincoln, we were like, who's the greatest president? And it was going to be a parody of Hamilton. So we literally were just like, who's the greatest president?
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the easiest decision out of anything in the movie.
They only went up from Lincoln or from Hamilton, so I guess we got to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So tell me about a time on the production that was the most challenging that you guys had to endure and overcome.
General challenge, I think. I don't know if it was the greatest, but half of the spaces that are in here, no longer exist because they shut down during COVID, like months after we had filmed. And then also, anytime we rented those spaces, we would do about 6 to 8 hours worth of work in about 2 hours time. So the time crunch in some of those spaces was quite challenging.
Yeah.
I don't know if the single hardest thing was, on some of those days we also had the full like makeup and hair stuff, which obviously took more time, but I think trying to beat the clock was...
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it was basically the budget that we had, which was basically zero. And it was...
literally out of our wallets is all it was.
Wait a minute. So, okay. So let's talk budget. How much did it cost for you guys to create this?
I would say probably $2,000.
What?
Minus the favors. Yeah.
Oh, well, there's always the favors.
Yeah. There's a lot of favors
Lots
involved in
of
this.
favors.
We'll be paying those back for years to come still.
And the
I mean, you, Harlem Film House, you helped with getting the theater.
Oh,
and
that's
we-
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Right.
That's right.
Places
That's
like
right.
this.
So we got a nice price on that. But like everything, it was, you have 2 hours. And we'd talk to our DP and say, what do you need? And he would be like, I need 5 to set up the lighting that you want. And we're like, well, we're in here for 2. So,
Oh my God.
so he did magic.
I forgot about that.
Our DP
Yeah, thank you.
did the thing. Yeah. We had like it was like 3 days where our DP had like other hands with him and were moving pieces, but otherwise he did most of the work himself, and we asked a
Amazing.
lot.
I want to ask you another question, a little off the subject a little bit before we take it to the audience for questions. How has the strike affected you guys with what you do? I know you guys are mostly theater, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it because you are theater and you're in between that space of theater and film. How has the strike affected you, if it has at all? Well, damn.
Well, yeah.
Don't all answer at once.
Well, I guess, I mean, usually for us, for like the live show, we take off in the summer. But overall, it just was real scary when they sent the stuff out to us about AI, because everyone's like kind of laughing about it. Like, yeah, this is stupid. That's not real. But then when you see it, and I've actually used it in a few things that I've edited, and it's great tools for editing. But then when it came out, like, they want to replace you. It's like, this isn't a movie. This isn't a joke. That got very scary. So I could speak for both of us on that. It's just nervousness of, like, what is the future of working going to hold? Because, we're the people who have the 1 or 2 lines in a TV show that we book or a movie. And that's who they're, like, literally trying to erase with AI.
So how do you combat that? What you guys do, AI cannot. It doesn't matter what someone can generate behind a computer. Who would think to do Lincoln the Musical, the comedy, the all the things that you do? You can't. What is the solution for you guys, if that's your fear?
I think that the solution is that for editing purposes, for producing, you can technically say that when you saw Lincoln, the opening night, that the tools used in editing, there was a little bit of AI in it. Where that is fantastic, because people like us who don't have the budget are able to now do something like that.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with the talent, with the actors or the people making the music involved. because it's like that, that's like you need the human element for that. I just think it's a good tool for post, but not to attempt to erase all of us.
Right. Do you think that it could even ever get to that point? I mean, I work with AI tools a lot, and I just don't see it. Or maybe I'm just jaded, or maybe I'm just too optimistic about how important the human mind and creativity is to storytelling. Am I not seeing something? Like, I just don't see how they would be able to replace. I mean, if you're talking about like CGI, big stuff, I don't know. How would they replace us?
I mean, I don't fully understand all of it, but it is in its infancy. So there is the capabilities it has right now are like very impressive. Right. 5-10 years from now, what does that amplify to? I think is what really scares us on the longevity of things. As far as like you were asking about like what do we do right now, I think we've always kind of tried to create our own work and continue to work within our communities and build our friendships and keep those people working as best we can.
Right.
Until the picketing's done.
Right. Well, I do hope that they don't have imaging where you sell your image for $200 and then they use it in perpetuity for 500 years. And then, is that what you mean? Like that type of replacement?
Yes, that's what I think where, and it's funny when you start out acting, there's a thing with photography, with stock photography, where it's like, ooh, that looks like a good check. And then people who've been in the game for a minute are like, don't do that, because anybody can buy that and then use it for an ad. And, they're like, oh, but I just filmed myself out in Central Park with a puppy smiling. And they're like, no, some company that murders dolphins can buy that ad and put you on it because you signed a release.
And now with AI, make it talk.
Yeah.
Make it talk, and now you can be in something that you'd be like, I would.
Like, what in
what? That's you up there, oh, I guess I signed my life away a few years ago.
So I guess the time is now to begin having these conversations like we're doing right now, where people can discourse about it and say, okay, while it's in its infancy, let's talk about this. Let's make sure that people's rights are protected while still being able to use the tools so that we can create better productions. Because I'll be damned if any AI can replace what the two of you do on a daily basis for the theater world and for film. You guys are absolutely amazing and funny, and that can't be computer generated at all, what you guys do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I want to see if we have some questions in the audience. If you do, we have microphones at the back. But please, any questions for our absolutely amazing friends here? Not one? No questions? Oh, damn. I try to be thorough.
Hey.
Hey. Hi.
Hi, my name is Jay Nicole, and I don't have a question, but as a theater professional myself, I just want to say it was the nuance for me. It was the nuance of
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Broadway Planet, Lent, the Zion King, all of it was the nuance for me. The 8 nights a week. We're working 8 nights a week. What? Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
How you doing?
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
I wanted to know how long did it take you guys to write the script?
Okay, so
and first, I'm sorry. Who came up with this idea?
Artie.
It stemmed from that live show doing that little Post Maloney character, and then when Ant did the other character, we had talked previously about doing a short as these two old agents that it would be funny. So then we were like, what if we put all of that shit together and it's a Broadway show? The actual mockumentary idea was a budgetary thing. It'll be cheaper to film it mockumentary style because of the talking head stuff and everything.
I think back and forth 4-ish months once we've had the idea to like, all right,
Yeah.
let's do this. We had, I guess, put these guys in certain places and then started connecting dots of like, okay, we could do this. And then slowly we found a kind of a clearer path for like an up-and-coming actor. And then there was more of a storyline we could build around this person in an ensemble. And so, you know.
Yeah. Once we found Kate, which we immediately were like, Katie needs to play this character. There was nobody else that we thought of.
Yeah, she was awesome too.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job.
It was basically her optimism in life and the way she is that when we've done shows with her, like she should play this character. And so once we found that, then it kind of steamrolled. But we did have a lot of just beats written down, and we had improvised in the beginning. And then when we cast the theater people, who some of them had never been on screen, they've only been
only
on
done theater
stage.
work previously.
We realized we couldn't do the improvising as much because they weren't used to that. They were much more used to the script. So then we had to, at that point, there were things going, oh, you know what, we need to stick a scene in here, and it would be like written 2 days before.
Right.
And
then with COVID, we stopped production and
Yeah.
then went through some editing, and then we probably wrote 4 or 5 more scenes during COVID to add in and kind of fill in where we'd maybe forgot or needed some help with.
Yeah. It was awesome. I like it. That's my style. I like
Well,
it.
thank you so much.
very
and thank you
much.
for
Thank
coming.
you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We got one more question.
Great job, guys. Yeah, one more. So my question was about the production itself. You said, the DP was awesome, kicked butt. I saw you had some run and gun style when like the Lincoln thing didn't work out. So my questions was like what went into the production itself? Like what kind of gear, shooting style you utilized to film this?
it was a Sony A7 III that he used, and I'm not sure of the lens kit. There was I know he had a wider one when we filmed the dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rig he has, he had a steady cam, but not one you would like attach to yourself. It's kind of like a big thing that he held.
Gotcha.
Where that's what out in the street.
Those tracking shots.
The tracking shots, he would use that. And then, so like Ann said, there were a few days which you would see like the bigger days, like the dancing scene, where Jeff, who's here, he was here to help. Where we turned a restaurant in Bronxville into Sardi's. That restaurant doesn't look like that. Those days we had a few extra people, but 90% of it was Jeff and him saying, "Give me 5 minutes because this is heavy and you've been running me around for 3 hours."
Thank you.
Thank
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question now. You have mentioned opening night you used AI. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So that's actually the what's the name of the theater? Richard Rogers? No.
No, we're Hamilton's actually.
We're actually
Richard Rogers. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Richard Rogers. That's the Richard Rogers Theater, and then that was the sign actually in the footage is Hamilton on it. So that was replaced with the poster that says Lincoln on it, and then lights put in behind it. So it's like it's CGI, but the using After Effects, like it helps you a little more. It was something I learned just for that. Like I probably couldn't even repeat it. It took forever to do it.
Wow.
But that stuff was like the editing program helped a little more, and then now I guess they're saying like that's actually AI what it is, because it's almost like finishing the job for you. Like, oh, I need these lights, but they don't look great, and I need it here, and you figure it out, and then it works on it. So it's like things like that where like I would not know how to do that, but you go on YouTube and there's like a 12-year-old kid in England who's like, hey, here you go, here's a tutorial. Show you exactly how to do it. Well, like Adobe, there's like a 9-hour class, but if you go on YouTube, a little kid will teach
Very
you.
quickly.
Those type of things, I think, like that's what I was saying, where I think for AI, that kind of stuff is something we would not have been able to hire someone to do that.
Right.
So it's little things. when a bus goes by and shows the outside of Sardines, that the name of the restaurant is the
Like
same
in Jolly
thing.
Rogers at
That's
the end.
replaced in Jolly
Right, the
Rogers.
Jolly Roger
Yeah.
placements, yeah.
Yeah, got you. Thank you.
I used After Effects for those, and I can't remember what it was. It's like autofill or something like in it that it will automatically fill what it thinks works, and didn't always work. Sometimes it would be some kind of blurry thing, but like in the end product, it would be like, oh wow, that just filled this whole thing.
I think Adobe makes After Effects, and in the past year, they've integrated AI tools into the software. So, there's AI specific programs that you use like Midjourney and things like that, but then big companies like Adobe who have, After Effects and Premiere and what's the other program?
Bless you.
Oh, bless you. They've already put it inside of the programming. So when you go into your tools window, it'll be there. Or when you first open it up, it'll say, hey, now with the power of AI, you can do this and that and the third. So it's not like a blatant thing, but it's literally already built into the systems that we're using now.
Yeah, they don't explain it to you that's what it is. But if you want to check something out, runwayml.com. It's I've used that for stuff, and it's great. It will remove people from like a scene. Runwayml.com. It's a good tool for editing.
All right, please give an amazing and warm round of applause to these two geniuses here.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, and where can folks find you?
Super Crazy Fun Time.
That says it all. Yes, supercrazyfuntime.com.
Yes,
Alrighty,
that's a
you guys
production
are dope.
company.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we are about to start the next block of films. Oh, come back real quick. She wants to grab a picture. So please remain seated. Great. Please remain seated. Please remain seated, and we'll get started shortly.
Thank you.
I wanna tell her, but I can't. Cause I don't ever wanna recant this. But I think about you all the time. You reside in my mind, don't leave it. Cause I need you there. I mean, I want you here, and I don't mean to stare, but how you wear your hair, the cool clothes you wear, I wanna keep you near. Shorty got a little Doug in her. Met her in the club, put a little bub in her. Now she got a little buzz, but I ain't taking advantage. I just wanna put some love in her. You're something I never seen.
Hey, can we have a round of applause for that amazing set films that we just saw? And I'd like for the directors to come up from all the films. All of our directors, please come up, grab a seat and a microphone. We're going to talk about love. Y'all can see the common theme today with this block was all about love. Can we get a round of applause for these amazing folks? Yes. Okay, so let's go down the row. Introduce yourselves and remind folks which film was yours so they know who to apply to who, to what film. And then we'll get started with our discussion.
My name is Yahya McClain. I'm the writer, director, producer of Unequally Yoked Christmas.
Oh.
My name is Marshall Wayne Cooper. I'm the director and writer of Good Man.
Hi, my name is Shanae Jenkins. I'm the writer, director, and producer of Waiting.
Hi, I'm Jabari Hutchinson. I was an actor in the After School Special.
All right. So the reason why I put this block together like this is because you guys tackled issues of love and relationships and in all its different facets. So yeah, let's start with you. An Equally Yoked Christmas. This is a straight up love story. Is this a real story? Is this your story? Tell us.
So this was loosely based on my wife and I. As you saw at the end of the movie, that was the actual poem that I proposed with. And I'm a Muslim. My wife is Christian. We're both from New York, but her family's from Barbados. So, you know, in the feature, there's a whole lot more shenanigans that goes with it.
So this is going to be a feature.
Well, you know, initially I wrote the feature first, but then I wanted to, you know, come up with a proof of concept. I had some potential investors to, you know, do the feature, of course. So then I did that, and then the pandemic hit. So now, and then the strike hit. So, and because I'm SAG, I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? So I wrote it as a feature. I wrote it as a short. I wrote 8 episodes as a series, and I wrote it as a play.
Love it. I like the fact that you said I wrote it as a play, because we don't know when these strikes will be done, but it doesn't affect Broadway. So what is how close are you to making a decision in regards to whether you'll take it as a play or not, developing in that way?
Well, being that this would be my first play, I wasn't really up on, you know, like certain like nice venues. They book like 2-3 years in advance. So when I was making my calls trying to find a theater, I couldn't find one. So, I mean, I could find the smaller ones, but I don't think small. And so, you know, I figure I'll keep working on it as a play because it's not going to happen until 24 if it happens as a play while I'm going through my journey to get distribution and all that.
Why this love story? Because you could have told a million different stories, because I know you have a lot of stories in you. Why this story about love?
Because my wife, like I said, because it was just a lot that went on. Like a lot of that stuff actually happened. Like it's so ironic. So in the movie, Auntie Earlene is the really religious one in her family, and she still lives in Barbados. The irony is she's at my house right now in Atlanta. My wife just picked her up today. But you know, and so when I met, and then her uncles and cousins are all from Brooklyn, and you know how Brooklyn cats are, so it was a lot of shenanigans going on. Like, oh, wait till you meet Pearline. Wait till you meet Auntie Pearline. Oh, she ain't gonna go for that. And you know, me and Auntie Pearline actually had a conversation because she is very religious and she couldn't understand or how her Christian niece could marry a Muslim, like basically almost to the point where it was like not on my watch. And so we had a conversation, very respectful conversation, and I told her, you know, I'm 55 years old right now. At that time, I was 42. And I told her, I said, I'm 42 years old. I'm a grown man. I've been a Muslim for a long time, since 1992. There's nothing that anyone can say to me about my religion that's going to make me change. I said, the best thing for us to do is to respect each other, respect each other's religion, and just get along, and we'll be fine.
So is that the basic message that you want to come out of this film, that you want people to grasp? Because it's kind of foundational roots of love, right?
Absolutely. To know that, you know, you can have differences and work through them, and to show that a Muslim and a Christian can be married, and we are not unequally yoked. We are equally yoked, like you heard in the song. By the way, that was me rapping.
Okay. All right, so what happens if she craves a piece of bacon? Like, does that? Because I like bacon. So
like,
that like an argument?
No, like I said, I became Muslim in 1992. I'm from Jamaica, Queens. My mom's made bacon, and I lived. You know what I mean? So bacon is a good.
It's a good thing. Okay.
I love bacon.
Well, then y'all have a perfect marriage.
But there ain't gonna be no pork in the house.
See, now you just done messed it up.
We will eat turkey bacon.
It doesn't eat. That's an
bacon.
oxymoron.
No.
How do you have you know what? We're going to argue about this later. We'll argue about this back at the director's dinner happening tonight. So I want to take it to my brother right here. Good Man, right? Let's talk about the themes of love in this. So here we have, if you guys remember, the movie Good Man. His girl is fine as hell. She goes into the store. The dudes on the corners, you know, doing they yo mama, yo baby, yo type gig. Dude is like, you know, you kind of getting this sucker vibe off of him, but you can tell, you know, he loves this lady because of the way he's watching her. He doesn't want confrontation. And she seems very adept at handling, you know, what it is to be a pretty woman in the world. She knows how to shake it off. But then his friend comes out and tries to, you know, he defends the girl when the confrontation starts. Why did he freeze like that?
Well, this video itself is inspired by like this social media video I seen at like Cleveland All-Star Weekend, where this guy had to defend his 3 friends that was like girls, and these 3 guys were like catcalling them, and he like beat them up. And I remember like in the comments there was just like so much discourse about like masculinity and like what you should and shouldn't do. So I kind of was like, I wanted to put this guy in this like position where it's this double-edged sword of like what he does is right, but at the same time, what he does is like not right on different scales. And I just really wanted to show like the confusion of masculinity, especially when it comes to social media and like everything, all the discourse just around masculinity and what you should do. I wanted to put a person in that position where he's just like confused, you know?
How old are you?
I'm 27, I'm gonna be 28 next month.
I'm rarely rendered speechless, but you said the masculinity part of it, that you're a young age, and then having them so deeply that you want to create a film that has a message and to do it so well. I'm just impressed by you. I can't even.
And I don't think it's even like age, 'cause I feel like every man has been in a position where like he has to like make that decision. Like if I do this is right, like I'll look this certain way, I'll be masculine. But if I don't do it, I won't look like that. I feel like we all face that in some like way or form. So just like that idea is really kind of like global, you know.
As a woman, I never really thought of that, obviously, because I'm a woman. But watching this, I was both rooting for him and against him. Like in the beginning, I was like, this dude's a sucker. Like, how are you gonna keep his girl? Like, look how she looking at him. Like, ugh. I would be looking at him the same way. But then I began to feel sorry for him as I saw the struggle, and the way you captured it was dope. You know, from the mirror to the dinner when they're at the table. We all have that friend that takes it just too far, based on their envious nature of us from the beginning. And I thought about that first scene when he was like, yeah, your girl is hot. And I was like, that dude want his girl, so he gonna do anything to try to, you know what I'm saying? So that dinner table scene reminded me of like, sounds weird, but any dinner table scene reminds me of The Color Purple a little bit. And when he was doing that, I just thought of Mr. and that laugh, maniacal, and I was like, God, he must feel like a herb, like a sucker, that anger. Have you ever been in that position? Right?
She went back. She said
Yeah,
herb.
all the way back. But it's the only way you gotta feel like a herb. Have you ever felt that in your life as a man, like somebody just doing that to you?
Of course, and I feel like sometimes it's like sometimes you have to suppress it, and sometimes you have to lash out, and it's kind of like that. It goes back to that decision again of like, if I do this, I'm always gonna be looked at this way, and if I don't do nothing, I'm also gonna be like looked at this way. So it's like a double-edged sword, you know, and just like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And then when he finally choked him, I was
Killed
rooting
him.
for kill him. He tried get him. I felt joyous. And I'm always in check with my feelings as I'm watching things. I felt joyous, and then I was like, okay. Then I felt concerned. Then I heard him say, I can't breathe. Then I was like, oh shit, he about to murder him. Tell us about that scene there.
I mean, that's the exact feeling I wanted to get, because like you look on like social media and you like enjoy some of these you enjoy some of these like fight videos and stuff like that, and then like you really think about it and think about the people behind it and like what's really going on. You gotta like look deeper into that. So you got it like spot on. Is that feeling of, oh, I'm enjoying this, but at the same time it's like something violent going on behind the scenes.
I couldn't read the emotion on the girlfriend's face as he was choking out the dude. Did she like it? Did she not like it? Or was she just like so over this? Like, it looked like she's done with the relationship. Am I right in that?
Victoria is like the audience to me. Like when I wrote it, she's like us looking at like masculinity and just like, and that's why it has like the question marks, because I want to like ask like you and like the person personally, like what do you feel like a good man is? And that's kind of like her point of view, just looking in at like what's going on.
And that's fucking genius, because I wasn't sure how I felt, and how I felt was reflected on her face. You did that shit. Man, listen, that was dope. I like that. Let's take it to waiting. Now, let's talk about this type of love, this haunting, this waiting, this repetitious, life repeats type of love, the secular love. Let's talk about waiting. Tell us how you came up with this concept and why this story.
So it was actually a combination of different emotions. So I was having a conversation with this brilliant young lady. She's a director and she's a writer and she's Muslim, and we just have these conversations. And so we were just talking about life. And I am Harlem born and raised, but I've been living on Long Island for 20 plus years. That's where I raised my children. And we talked about different things, and the one thing that I always find myself talking about with people are relationships, and that's any type of relationships. I tell people all the time, and people don't realize this, like we have children, we raise our children, we send them to school with the expectation of just the education, but we never teach our children how to be friends and how to be in a relationship. We throw them in and they learn it by whatever, hook or crook, they just learn it on their own. So we had the conversation, I said, so it was a combination of me and her and just other women that I know and then my own children. And so I was just like, I'm a firm believer that we hear the stories about the dad not being there, but we don't really talk about when the dad is there and how he's there, or when the mom is there and how they are there. So they were there and they were present, but what we say and the messages and what we give and what we label to be okay. So I decided to take this story of, I would wait for my dad because I knew we were gonna go to the Chinese restaurant on 145th and Broadway.
Like that restaurant.
We're gonna go there, right? And this is 2 times a month, but you're waiting. And then I took a piece of her story and a little bit of everything to say, I wanted to show this young woman who, it wasn't her fault that she was taught to wait, but how was she waiting? And what was she doing to herself while she was waiting? And did she realize that you're waiting, but you're missing? Sometimes when you're waiting, you're missing out, i.e. Jake. He's literally right there, but you're waiting for something that may never pan out to be healthy for you. So I said, you know what, I wanted to do this and I wanted to create the conversation. And I just wanted people to talk about it. Some people felt like, well, that's not fair. Greg was working hard. Maybe Greg didn't mean to do what he did. What's Greg's story? What's his deal? And I firmly believe that after a while, we become responsible for ourselves. We can pick up any book, we can read anything, we can speak to any person and decide to just change our mindset and go down a different path, especially if we see what's happening to other people. Right. So I said, you know what? I want to do this. I'm going to do this. And I just want to point out that I made it a family affair because the opening song is my son. He produced the song, he's rapping. Then my oldest daughter, who doesn't even care about anything creative, she's a nurse, okay? She delivers babies. She sang on it. Wow. Then my youngest daughter is acting in it. And then that was my granddaughter who was acting in it. Because my granddaughter says, Grandma, I want to try this acting thing. I said, okay, I got you. Because if you're going to try something, you're going to try it with me first before I send you out there, to the madness of it all. And then the young man who did the sound, he's like an adopted son to me. He's been doing theater with me since he was in middle school. Now he's a grown man. And then the young woman who played the mother in the flashback, she did theater with me when she was in high school. Now she's a grown woman. And so it just turned into this family affair that was a message that created a crazy conversation. Like, I had couples when I did a premiere at my home who were literally having arguments because they were deciding whose side they wanted to be on and the whole perspective, but it made the men and the women and the children in the room have a conversation. It made my granddaughter say, whoa, I appreciate the relationship I have with my dad. I know what to look for and not to look for. So I just wanted it to have a conversation, but touch on all the different little pieces and nuances of love, because we love so differently in so many different ways and so many people at the same time. And that's a lot on our brains. So you have to stop and figure you don't always get it right. So I just wanted people to see all the little nuances of loving differently, different times, different ways, different people. So that's what Waiting was about, what it was for.
I loved it. One of the things that struck me is, my parents got divorced when I was probably about 5. And, I'm 5, so I don't know what the adults are talking about. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that I was a daddy's girl. So when he would call and say, I'm coming to pick you up, Man, listen.
Nothing like that feeling.
Ooh, it was like Christmas, Easter, everything rolled into
Yes,
one.
yes.
I was so excited, my hair pressed, and you know how you had to hold your ears,
Yes.
right? Because we weren't allowed to get perms.
Yes.
And the clothes and the baths and ready. And then you sit and you wait.
And you wait.
And you wait. And you wait.
Mm-hmm.
And you wait.
Yep.
And you wait.
Yes.
And as a little child, having to go through that, and then eventually you hear your mom's raised voice in the other room because, you know, Dad's supposed to take you. She has somewhere to go too.
Right.
She getting a break. Now you hear raised voices in the other room, come out, grab the phone, your dad's on the phone, pick up the phone, and, you know, you hear the excuse, right? And you're mad. But then when he eventually does show up, whether it's that day or 3 weeks later, he comes with the gifts and the stuff so you're like, oh wow, and it's forgotten.
Yes.
And everything's okay. No one talks about it. No one apologizes.
Exactly.
So you learn this pattern of abuse, right? And it's so fucking abusive.
Yes.
But we're taught this as little girls.
Exactly.
Right? So when I saw this film, I was like, I see what she did there. But for other people, you know, it means something different. So I just wanted to share that with you from how your art touched me. And I was able to say, okay, yeah, I recognize that.
Sorry. That's amazing to me because that's just my job as a writer. Like, I literally write just that people can feel an emotion and then share and then possibly change. And so, like, this is like full circle because born and raised in Harlem, and this is where I came after school in Schaumburg to write my plays and write my creative writing and do my journaling. So, you know, I sit here and you say that, and that's really just the sole reason why I do it. It's just an emotion. I think as human beings, we're meant to share with each other, and sometimes we can't. So if you see something that will bring it out of you, then it's just like, you know, you did your job. That's it. I just wanted people to feel, and I wanted my granddaughter to be able to look at this and say, okay, I understand the emotion. I want anyone who is waiting for their dad to know that, okay, I may be waiting for my dad, but I don't have to wait for this person, male, female, or anyone. I just need to be okay with me. I'm okay with me, then I'm okay with the next person and the next person. So I really appreciate that. Like, that's everything to me, what you just said. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. Y'all been making me cry all week. Y'all gonna stop. Can't be no punk today. Will not be a punk.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's take it to this beautiful young man here.
What was the question?
So we're talking about love. So here's the question. So your film, After School Special, is definitely about love. It's about that best friend friendship, and your characters depend on each other in an interesting, absurd, weird, and amazing and beautiful way. Talk to me about this film and how you see the love in it.
So this was like my second time acting, like ever.
That was your second time?
Yeah. My friend Jason had called me and he was like, I have this role for you, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So as far as love, I think you can really see how love can be abused. I think my character is very comfortable, and he kind of takes advantage of my friend Hudson, who was like playing himself. And throughout the movie, you see how my character sort of sees how his actions are affecting his best friend. Yeah, and his actions are sort of pushing him away, and I don't think he obviously he doesn't want that. So he tries to salvage it. You know, in the end, he realizes I'm wrong. I shouldn't do this, and he changes it. Unfortunately, Jason, the director, couldn't be here today. But yeah.
But I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, like that's part of unconditional love, a friendship, particularly best friends when you're in high school, and all of that. It's, you know, you make a mistake and you learn how to be accountable. And that's one of the biggest parts of love, is being accountable and having responsibility, having the responsibility of another person's heart, right? And you guys played that out so well.
Thank you.
And I can't believe this is your second time acting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an artist. I'm a creator. I just, you know, I want to fill seats. I want to be a star. So he told me to do it. I was like, let's go. You know,
Let's
ready
go.
for it. Yeah, yeah.
So you
yeah.
really related with the character that you were playing.
I mean, he told me to be me. And I mean, I could do anything, though. Like, I could be dramatic. You know, I wish it was longer. It was really fun. It was really fun.
It was really great. It was really refreshing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole team was very talented, though. Like,
Yeah.
we have Ryan in the crowd. He helped out a lot.
Woo!
Ryan in the red shirt. He was.
All right.
It was very fun to be a part of the cast.
So I'm going to open this up to the audience to see if anyone has any questions. There's 2 microphones at the back. But please engage. You just saw an amazing block of films. Ask questions about production, camera, scripting, anything you want to know about, just grab a microphone.
Gentleman over there.
Mark McPhee. Hey, Mark.
Hello. I had stroke, so please give me time to express myself. First of all, I want to say thank you for your tremendous work for all you great filmmakers. And to the brother, your rap or your poetry to your wife was on the money.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
We have a young filmmaker up there, 27 years old. I applaud you. And I appreciate you bringing out those daddy issues, because as a grandfather, I'm standing in the gap for my granddaughters. And so my question is to our filmmakers, what brings you the most joy from your work? And second of all, where can we find your work? Because I really enjoy your work. Thank you.
Hey.
The thing that brings me the most joy is when my intended message is received. When I see, I mean, if it's a drama and I hear the, when I wanted it, or if it's a comedy and they're laughing, whenever the audience is giving me what I'm looking for, that means to me that I've done my job. What was the other question?
Where can you see your
Oh. Basically just Yaya McClain on Instagram and on Vimeo, Yaya McClain. YouTube, Yaya McClain. Just everywhere, Yaya McClain. Yeah.
For me, what was the first one? Was it?
What brings you?
Oh, what brings you the most? For me is connecting with people, because I feel like when I first got into filmmaking, I was like very introverted and stuff like that. But like I feel like making films and telling stories just allow me to connect personally with a lot more people and just grow. So really connecting people, when people come up to me and talk to me about like certain stuff that happened in the film and just like greater things outside of it, I really like find joy in that.
Where can you find your work?
Well, this is gonna be out online in like a couple months, but you can find my work on Instagram, Movie Making Coop. I usually have all of my links on there.
What brings me the most joy, well, it's 2 things, is allowing creatives to come together in a space and help me build the work, because although I'm the writer and director, it's a collective effort, so we have a good time. I take suggestions, I change lines, so having the creatives in the same space, I'm excited. I do everything. I cook for them, whatever they need. And also when the audience just has an emotion and they can relate to something, and that gives me the most joy. I started with theater, so I actually have a play on YouTube called Like Me, Love You. It's on YouTube under Theater in Motion, and it's an off-Broadway play that you can see that. I have a show on Tubi called Sister's Keeper. It's 10 episodes. And for Waiting, it's on YouTube, but I didn't make it public yet, so I'm gonna make it public soon. I wanted to do this major thing here that I love so much first, and then I'll make it public on YouTube.
I want to touch people. The world can be not the best, and for me, art is expression. So if there's anything that I express myself in or I was a part of, and for somebody to say that I touched them or we created, or you know, I like he said, I want to connect, and yeah, if I were to ever do that, it makes me feel happy, you know. You could follow me on Instagram at BUKI0300, and then my SoundCloud is in there. Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20. Oh, he has such a bright light, right? He's just such a presence. I dig you. So directors that are here in the audience and fellow actors, I'd love to see y'all embrace this young man.
Please.
And I love, he was running out because he was like, he had to go meet his family. So I was like, you need to get on the stage. Bring all of your family in. So I let the girls at the front desk know, just let his whole family in. So he comes in, I'm expecting to see big people. He comes in with these beautiful babies. These beautiful babies. Your sisters and your brothers?
Yeah, and my dad.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful babies. So you can tell a lot about a person from what they exude and how they carry themselves and who they carry themselves with. So kudos to your young man.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you, likewise.
Okay. Kim, you have a question?
Yeah, more comments than questions, but Yaya, you're gonna look on a lot of YouTube videos when people are proposing and you're gonna hear your words, because that was incredible. So I'm just letting you know now.
Thank you.
you're gonna see that. And so y'all touched on a lot of waiting that I was gonna ask about also, but I just wanna let you know that I'm so glad that you didn't show her hooking up with that guy. Right? Okay. Because she does have to wait to heal herself first.
Right.
I'm hoping that's gonna be, that was my question. Are you gonna let her heal in that situation before she gets with someone else?
Yes, it was important to me when we were shooting. I asked the actress, I asked the creatives, I just say creatives. And so I said to her, you're noticing, but you're not jumping in. You really have to just understand yourself first and what you're going through, but you can recognize, it's safe to recognize it. Her girlfriend saw it and she would toss it out there a little bit, but I wanted her to spend some time with herself, but still recognize it enough. And this is why it was important that Jake, in turn, made it clear, I'm here, but nothing about me is aggressive, but I am here. Right. So they did great with their facial expressions, because I believe that we can say a lot with our eyes before we even open our mouths, and it's important. So it was important to get that, just to see that moment and nothing to be said. Right. Just do what you have to do, and then she chose to just keep walking. Some of the men were upset who saw that. They felt that it was disrespectful, and I was just like, on the contrary.
No, on the contrary, he was out there doing what he was supposed to be doing, but he felt like he needed to be doing, so she needed to feel and leave too. So you got me all.
No, no, that's what I mean, but that's what it is. So it was, and I also wanted to show women that as well. It's women, women and men, doesn't matter, but people want love, and I get that, but you have to give yourself a minute first so that you are ready for whatever way you need to be ready. And so clearly she wasn't and he wasn't. So now that's the path she can go on with Jake when the time is ready. But they had other pressing things. They were finishing, they had it's deep when you have a saying with someone. You finishes, talk sooner, if not later. That's their thing. Like the same way you have with your friend. Won't he do it? As long as we do our part. Like when you have sayings like that, then there's a connection, but there's no need to interrupt that. Don't interrupt it unnecessarily. So yeah, she was absolutely going to take a little bit of time for herself.
Great. And good man, I'm glad that, he got him. I was waiting for that. I just hope he didn't kill him, just hurt him.
No, he didn't kill him that time.
Can I ask you a question about Good Man? Because when he was choking him and it started out friendly, and then I could see the aggression building up, right, which I thought was genius.
That's this guy right there.
Did he have several thoughts in that moment? I mean, it could be actor's choice or director, but were there several thoughts? Because it was going up like a meter. It was, ha, 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 okay, I'm over you. Okay, you clowning me. Okay, wait, maybe this wasn't the only man that clowned him, so now I'm taking it out. This one, and you're number 10 that did it to me. And at this point, this is for everybody. And that's what I got. So be a director and actor's choice, that was killer right there. And it was all in his face, no words. Amazing.
I feel like Sean, like me and Sean talked about like the impact of like what that kind of ending was, and like he just delivered on it, first time. I think we did it like 3 times because we had to go, and like I remember on the second time I was like, yo, we got it already, but I'm gonna just do one for safety. But yeah,
Yeah, that chokeout scene was definitely powerful. Where you were thinking, he did it for everybody. I was like, damn, that dude must have been fucking with him for a long time.
Right. I thought it was several people.
I just felt like it was him and that dude.
It was a little Jada and Willish too.
It's crazy because the Will thing happened 2 weeks after my producer called me and was like, yo, this is our movie right here. This is wild. Like the Oscar thing happening, that's like most of that social media stuff is from the Jada and Will stuff. I even got like an Easter egg up on with the news clip on
I wasn't wrong.
You called it. Yeah, I called it. Okay, sorry. We getting caught up in our conversation.
First of all, just congratulations to all of you. Those were some phenomenal stories. The one question I had is, for all of the directors, what is your favorite love or romance film and why?
Ooh, good one.
Mine, right off the bat, Love and Basketball, because my wife, it's her favorite movie. And in making film, everyone that is involved in producing, writing, directing, whatever, if you're trying to make a film, you can all attest to this, that it gets very stressful. Things don't always go the way you want it to. They get put off. And my wife always reminds me, it took 10 years to make Love and Basketball.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Wow.
For me, it's Brown Sugar because I remember growing up, I was probably like 6 or 7. My parents like had this Blockbuster DVD that we somehow didn't return and get no charges. And it was literally Brown Sugar. And I watched that probably like 10 times back to back. So like that was like the first like love film I seen at like age 7. Yeah.
This is going to sound crazy. It's not traditional. I just see love in all types of ways. So for me, you're going to laugh, but it's Hollywood Shuffle. Let me explain why.
Girl.
Let me explain.
Sorry.
Let me
That's my
explain
favorite
why.
movie. Sorry.
Hollywood Shuffle is a love story. He is in love with this craft. He is in love with his family. And he is in love with the idea of us not being exploited and doing these ridiculous roles. So that was the ultimate love story, whether people see it that way or not, because he loved these things and he had to sacrifice. He was sacrificing himself and what he loved for outsiders. And then it came back full circle and he got the girl and his grandma was happy and his nephew was happy and he loved himself. My favorite love story is Hollywood Shuffle.
Of all time. Especially when he finally quit Winky Dinky Dog.
Thank you.
Hoes got to eat too.
Hoes got to eat. Listen, if
Dated
you have
myself,
not
but
seen
just saying.
Hollywood Shuffle,
Just
go
saying.
See it. It's Robert Townsend.
I love Robert Townsend.
His first movie, right? Robert's first movie before the 5 Heartbeats and all
Thank
the
you.
amazing things he did. But that is literally my favorite movie in the world.
It is mine. I saw it when it came out. Living in Harlem, it was at the theater. The movie was $1, $2, and I saw it 20 times, no exaggeration.
Okay, what's your favorite movie? Your favorite love story movie?
Does Roll Bounce count?
Was the who what?
Roll Bounce, does that count?
Who read it?
Roll bounce.
Oh, roll bounce. Oh, I thought he said Roblox. I'm like, isn't that a game? Okay.
I don't really watch a lot of love movies. I'm more into like drama and action.
It does count.
Okay, cool.
It does count. Why roll bounce?
I don't know. I'm really a big fan of like cinematography. Oh, no, not even the cinematography. I just like the way it looks, like visually. It's a really nice movie.
Okay, so you're in love with the visuals of it.
Yeah, I wanted to do like editing and stuff. Well, I want to do editing. Yeah.
Well, you're in the right room. Can I tell you my favorite love story? Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. I am your father. Obviously, I have daddy issues. I wish I kicked my dad. No, I'm just joking. I love my daddy. I love him. I love Star Wars. I mean, it's life, love, death, family, rebellion. I love Darth Vader. Darth Vader, if you ask me, who's your favorite superhero? I always say Darth Vader. And they're like, that's not a fucking superhero. Yes, he is. He has magic powers, the throat check, shut the hell up. And he everything he did was for love. Everything Vader did was for love. So we can unpack that later. But, question.
All of you did an amazing job, but this question is specifically for the director of Waiting. My parents separated in 3rd grade when I was in the 3rd grade, and they did a really good job co-parenting, and I did admire them, and I never had to wait. But when my dad passed away in 2017 when I was 12, I found myself waiting for the first time. So my question is to you, how do you grieve with the loss of such a close relationship?
Oh, well, first off, I want to say that I appreciate you even coming to the mic. And I honestly feel it's what we tell ourselves and me all day, I believe in journaling. I just feel like the pen and the paper is meant for everybody. We put it down. And it's hard when parents aren't together and then you lose someone. So I'm no counselor by any means. I'm nothing like that. I'm a mom of 3 and a grandmother of 5 and a mom to a many adopted, that whole row right there, right, since they were young. And I'm saying that it's just all about what we think, because I'm a firm believer that what we think here and what we say out of here is what lands here. So my thing is to constantly express how you feel, to think about what was good and what felt good, to share with the person that you trust the absolute most, and to read and look at different things. Like, I'm a person where if I look at a film or I read a story that is touching, it literally helps because it's helping me to release. And so with Waiting, and she was waiting for her dad and for that. And the parent, and I think it's great you said your parents co-parented well. In this case, her parents didn't co-parent well. My parents didn't co-parent well. And so for years, I hear it in your voice because that was me. And I felt it in my gut and my spirit every day. And then one day, something that I did was I wrote a letter to my dad. And you can do the same thing. I didn't mail it. I just wrote the letter to my dad, and I said everything that I felt. And day by day, I got better and I got better. But I didn't just share with anyone. I have a shirt that says, hella stingy with my energy. Is this a real thing? Find the person that you trust the most. In those moments that you want to share, then share. That's really what I did. I found at the time the person that I trust the most. I am blessed now that I can go to my daughter with any and everything. You know, I'm the mother, she's the daughter, it doesn't matter. So find the person that you can totally share with. And the reason why I have a frog in my throat right now, sorry, is because I feel it right? I don't even know you. I don't know your name, but I feel you already. Like, I want you to be my friend. You know what I'm saying? So I say share and just journal and share and think of the good things. Remember, what we think here and we speak it, it lands here. It really does, and it stays here. Okay? All right. I want to hug her. Oh, my God.
I know. And if I may, excellent advice is to journal and what Sis is telling you. My sister and I, we are now orphans. So we lost both our mom and our dad. I live in funny stories about my dad. I live in my anger with my dad, my forgiveness of my dad. But I also surround especially with my mom, right? Because our mom was bigger than, she was everything. She was the closest thing to us. We live in her memory, meaning pictures, stories. I love being around her sisters because not only do they look like her and have some of her mannerisms, but they have the stories. They pass down that legacy. It's your time now to cull stories of your dad. If you miss him, dig into his past. Do the Ancestry.com. Find out who was his father, and then who was his father, and then who was his father. And you will find healing. You will find that salve. You will find that relief. You will find that blessing in knowing who you are through him and through his father and all those fathers that you never knew. And you take that, and then you take that energy and you pass it on to your children so that they can pass it on to their children's. We live through in eternity through the stories that we tell through our family, through our lineage, so that we don't lose that. Have faith in that, okay? They're giving us the wrap it up cue, but this was dope. Yes, it was. This was dope as hell. Tonight, you are all invited to the director's dinner. So when we leave from here, we're going over to, yeah. Oh, you got one?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to shout out
Yeah.
my director of photography, Sajid Chowdhury.
Hey!
He just drove in from Philly to be here.
But hopefully he can come as well. We're having a director's dinner. It is just for the directors. Sorry, audience. But we're going to sit and we're going to talk about the strike. We're going to talk about what this means for you guys as independents. We're going to talk about funding and really figure out what we can do to keep our productions going as independents while you're still trying to navigate this strike. And how do we navigate it? Is it okay to work on independent film? Blah, blah. And we're going to eat, and we're going to drink, and we're going to do all of that. For the rest of you, we hope that you come back out tomorrow. We have another great day of programming for the filmmakers and directors in the room. We also have a dope master cipher happening at the Film House that's free and open to everyone. We're bringing the funders in and some agencies in to help you guys get the funding. The people that actually give the money will be there, and you can, connect with them, talk about projects coming up, and figure out how to get funded even in these trying times. We're also going to be talking about AI, which is y'all's favorite topic. And Ty's favorite topic. We'll be talking about those things as well. So without any further ado, we thank you for joining us today and have a good evening.